Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Welcome here at Crypto Hash Review, where we educate and disseminate information about Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies from a Muslim perspective. And today we're going to continue on from a previous video where we explained to you the benefits of multi-sig. What is a multi-signature wallet or multi-signature wallet, and how you can distribute the keys to different people and then have a quorum required to sign a transaction and send it out to the Bitcoin network. And today we're going to demonstrate that to you live here using one iPad and two mobile phones. So this will be, you could say this will be your phone, this may be your wife's phone, this may be your mum's phone or your dad's phone or iPad, and you can have this as your backup. So when you want to send a transaction, you can make a transaction, sign it, send it over to your wife, she can confirm it and sign it, and then it'll be broadcasted. If she's unavailable, you can send it to your mum or your dad, and then they can sign it and transact and send it. That's how you can have a multi-signature wallet. So let's open up this first. We're gonna call this, let's call this multi-test. There you go. Vault. And we are going to, we'll check that it is a 2 of 3. That's cool. That's done. And as we mentioned before, you can increase it. So you can make it 3 of 3 if you want to be insane. Make it 2 or 4. You can do whatever you need to do. Here we keep it. We only have 3 devices, so we keep it 2 or 3. I mean, 2 people need to sign in order for it to happen. Interesting enough, can you do? You can't do 1 or 3. That'd be pointless. But yeah, as you can do. So the first key would be this one, key number 1, create new. And then here it has a private key down here. That's vault number 1. Number 2, I'm going to open a new wallet actually. So imagine that I already have a wallet. This is my own wallet, for example. Bitcoin. Just to show you, you can import. So yeah, I got that one done. So now I come here and I would scan my private keys. So I'll come here and I would import here and I'll press scan, and I've imported those private keys beginning with spray, differ. And this one here, do the same thing over here. This is mine. Actually, no, this one will be different. I'll leave this one as it is, and I'll make a new one. Just create it. I'll explain in a minute. So one already have a wallet. That's an example of someone who already has a wallet, but they want to use this as their private key. This one hasn't got a wallet at all on it, and it's going to generate more from here. So this is a people tree. Done. And create. This is going to now calculate and work it all out. And obviously, whilst we're waiting for that to take place, that's already done now. So now we have our multi-test wallet. So we have, in here we can manage our keys. So here, if you look here at the keys, we have 3 private keys. 1 private key here, 1 private key here, and there is no private key here yet. So for this one, for example, this one begins with spray. So with this one here, I'm going to remove it from this particular, what's it called? I'm going to remove it from this, actually before I remove it, I want to export it. So now I'm going to come here and I'm going to import, and I'm going to scan, and now it's going to import that multi-signature wallet onto this phone here. So we have a copy of all that's here now on this phone here. Cool. This is my first time really playing with it. It's straightforward, but obviously the fact that I'm doing it for the first time will help you also see how it is. So now I'll see it already here on this phone now on MultiSig, and this has all the private keys done. And that's it. So we imported successfully, and here are the private keys. All 3 of them on this phone. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3. So on this particular, so technically I have all 3 keys on this phone, just like I have all 3 keys on this iPad. And on this phone here, I actually don't have any example of it. I have the private keys on another wallet, but I don't have the multi-signature wallet here yet. So let me go on and import that one as well. So let's go to import. There we go. So that's now going to import on this phone. It should be faster on this phone because this phone is like 5 years younger than this one was. But whatever the case may be. So now we have 3 wallets, but they all are essentially copies of each other. They all have the exact same number of keys on each one of them. But that's not very useful to us because I can send a transaction with this on this one only and sign both of it. So that's useless to me. So we come here, and what I'll do is same with this one. I go to the manage keys. So on this one, I'm going to forget the spray miss key because that's this phone. So let's go to forget this seed and use the XPub. Okay. So are you sure your mnemonic seed will be lost if you do not have a backup? Which I do. It's gone. So now it's going to remove the private key and now keep the public key. Which you see at the bottom here, it says Vault 3, ZPub there. And I'm gonna do the same over here. So that's spray, move from over here, done. And I'm now have on both of these two, I have the same thing. Both have both XPubs. This is XPub 7 ending in P4V, the same thing, yeah. Now, one of these is going to have purpose, analogy, and the other one's going to have people, bamboo. So I'm going to make this one be purpose, analogy. So therefore, I'll forget it from this one. Forget the seed. That's now gone. And this one, I'm going to forget the bamboo from this one. There you go. So this one is the people, bamboo. And this one is the other one. Purpose, analogy. There you go. So this has 1 key and other keys have been removed. This is 1 key. The others have been removed. Now this one, I'm going to remove the purpose analogy, and I'm going to remove the third one, which was people bamboo. Cool. Now we're all set up. Perfect. So each one of these has 1 private key and the public key of the others. Yeah. And like I said, with all these, so basically they all have a copy of all public key. So they can get addresses, receive Bitcoin, but they can't sign 2 of them. They only have 1 key to sign. So that's done. Are you sure you answer any changes? Okay. Oh, I got to press save. I didn't know how to press save. Let's press save and save. That's been saved. That's a good feature. Just make sure that you don't want to mess things up. So that's now been saved on each device. Okay, so here we are. We're back. So in MultiSig, cool. So now what we need to do is receive some Bitcoin, and anyone can do so. So if I tap here, I press receive. Yes, we're on the keys. And okay, I get the gist. And this one ends in MZC2. Receive here, yes, yes. MCC2, this one should be MCZ2. So they all produce the exact same address. So now we're going to send some Bitcoin to this address so we can have some Bitcoin in the multisig. So we'll cut to the next scene. So we received the transaction onto our multi-signature wallet. So as just a brief review or summary, we've got a 1 signature on a phone which is not connected to the internet, no Bluetooth, no Wi-Fi, just on its own, like almost like a hardware wallet. We've got an iPad here, for example. It's also it is connected to the internet. Also one of the signatories. We've got another iPhone which is connected to the internet, and so on and so forth. So what we want to do now is send a transaction. So let's press send, and we have the address, paste the address, and this is return to sender. And we're going to choose the maximum amount, full amount, done. And we're going to choose fees and choose the lowest fee because we're not in need of this cash, to be honest. And next. Now it's telling me that only one key has signed it, which is this iPad. We need another key to sign the other transaction. So here we go, we provide signature. Done, let's go get the signature. So now it's giving us a QR code for either one of these signatories to sign the transaction. Now, if I were here in person, I would just scan it. So let's open this up one. So I'll go to send, and I'll go to sign the transaction. So now I'm going to get the transaction. So it's asking me, do you want to co-sign this transaction? Yes. So now it's going to sign the transaction. So now there you go. Now you can see there's two keys. This one and my one has signed the transaction, and now I can confirm and broadcast and send a transaction. But I'm not going to do that because I can broadcast it on my one because this has internet access. Whereas this one doesn't have internet access. So if I was to do the same here, come here, and I want to sign the transaction, I would come here. So do you want to co-sign the transaction? Yes, I do. And okay, maybe there you go. So it's now signed the transaction. One key here and one key here. And it's asking me, do you want to confirm it? And yeah, I could, but it has no internet access. So I could, I guess, press export sign PSBT, which is basically sign the transaction. And now it has the transaction signed. So let me come here, because this has no internet access, so this can't actually broadcast. So I'm hoping this would work. Let's have a look. So one option is to, if I tap in broadcast transaction and I press scan, and I'm going to come here and I'm going to try and scan this transaction. There you go. So now we have the actual transaction here that I can now broadcast on this device. But it has here share. So I guess if you press the share button, it will actually just give you the actual text of this. Anyway, the point is, you can see that you can coordinate the signing of transactions using multiple signatories. So imagine you're a charity and you have different trustees of the charity, all have a certain key. And if they want to allocate certain funds to a certain project, one person can put forward a proposal, others could agree on it. And then when they formulate the transaction, for the transaction to be finalized, some of the trustees have to sign it, whatever quorum you need, and so on and so forth. So now I can press broadcast on this one, for example. So this is actually quite interesting. So this one signed it, this one signed it, but this phone, completely different phone altogether, now is now going to broadcast. So I'll press broadcast, and done. Success, your transaction has been broadcasted. Yeah, that's what it says. Done. And let's see if it reflects the same information here. There you go. Now it's pending over here. And come out of this. Come out. And let's see if it reflects here. There you go. And it reflected here on this one. Now on this phone, it still says 0. Remember, it has no connection. So it's almost like, again, it's like a hardware wallet. It has no idea what Bitcoin it has, but all it can do is just sign transactions. And this is our demonstration of a multi-sig digital wallet. And this can work for any organization or individuals or families. So imagine you have a family of 5 people. You can have 5 people each having their own private keys. And then when you can set a limit of 3 or 5. If 3 people sign the transaction, then the transaction is valid. Whatever suits your organizational structure or whatever. And that's it. This is how multi-signature wallets work. Now, what are the pitfalls of multi-sigs? Okay, in order to formulate this multi-sig wallet, you need to have all private keys. Yeah. Now, let's imagine worst case scenario, all devices break. Yeah, all devices break. But you think to yourself, okay, that's not a problem because I've got the private keys. So you can restart again with the same private keys. But imagine all devices broke and one person's private key was missing, then you can't reformulate this whole transaction again without the private keys. So one way around it would be to have backups of your thing. So this thing here, this will be a backup. This bit here, this will be a backup of what's happening on this device. So you should ideally have this as your backup at the very least, as well as your private keys, so that if for whatever worst case scenario, someone it's one of those, one of you guys lose your private keys and you also lose access to the apps, which is really difficult to imagine, but it could happen. Then at least you have this way to restore your side of the wallet and they have their option to store their side of the wallet. Does that make sense? So it's put it this way. You need all three keys to formulate this new wallet. But now you've got this new wallet. I've deleted two of the keys from this one, two of the keys from this one, two of the keys from this one. So now I have a partial view of this wallet. And that is good enough. But if I don't have that even, all I have is one private key and one private key. I still need the third one to formulate the original wallet. So there are some pitfalls and risks involved in multi-sig, but you have to weigh out the risks and the harms. What's the likelihood of everyone losing both their private keys and the devices that they have? Because you should have your devices, you should have your private keys, and everyone should have at least 2 copies of their private keys. So you get the gist, Anyway, we hope you found the video beneficial and useful. Like this video, subscribe to our channel, check out our website, and may Allah give you plenty Bitcoin. Secured in multi-sig. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.